Hi, today I want to share with you guys this recipe for vegetarian birria tacos from Eat Figs Not Pigs, whose link is in the description below. I love to cook, so making these was really therapeutic, and I want to take you along and show you how I made them. So obviously there is a lot of seasoning that goes into this dish. I don't even think I had everything I needed, like dried chilies. But the star of the dish is the oyster mushrooms. I also used shiitake because I couldn't find a ton of oyster mushrooms. And then, of course, corn tortillas and some mozzarella cheese. First, I want to roast my vegetables, so I'm just chopping up everything that I have here. I'm also chopping up this chili. I don't know what kind it is, but I just kind of got it since I didn't have dried chilies. And yes, I have a garbage bowl. If you don't cook with a garbage bowl, then I'm sorry, you're not one of the culinary elites, but we'll still take you. So I'm just slicing them up to go on this pan, nothing too fancy. And we just lay those bad boys down on that parchment paper pan. And now I'm just breaking out my onions and everything, and then I'm gonna put some garlic on here. And I am very heavy-handed with olive oil. I really don't know what people use before olive oil because I don't cook without it. So yeah, add as much olive oil you want, and then we go into the oven cooking for time. While those are roasting, I'm just gonna work on my mushrooms. Like I said, using oyster and shiitake. I find that both are kind of like a meaty flavor and stuff. So I'm pouring them into the strainer, breaking up my oyster mushrooms, and then I'm going to wash them. I always get nervous with mushrooms because I'm like, I know they're fungi, but then I'm like, do they have mold on them? Like, can they grow that? I don't know. So it's always a risk when I eat mushrooms, and I'm always nervous. So wash them, putting them into my bowl. You keen observers will see that this is my garbage bowl. Yes, but I washed it. And so I'm just putting them all in here. Now I'm shredding. I want my mushrooms to look like shredded chicken. I think I don't know what kind of meat is used in regular birria tacos, but it's some shredded meat. So I saw a picture of that and I was like, I want my mushrooms to look like that. So that's why I'm being so extra here. After a while, the forks didn't do as much for me, so I got down and dirty and using my hands to separate and break up the mushrooms to make them look more like some shredded meat. Now I'm on to seasoning my mushrooms, and first is using apple cider vinegar. I was kind of grossed out pouring this into my food, not gonna lie, just because it smells so bad. But I was like, you know what, it'll cook out, whatever. And then some olive oil. I also don't measure things that I use. I just kind of go by that thing. Like I tell, whatever my ancestors tell me is good enough, then I'm like, okay, that's good. So I don't even know what ingredients I used here besides salt and the other ones I mentioned. But I think it's probably on the recipe website. And then I stirred that up. And wow, what do you know? Our roasted veggies are done after 25 minutes. They're a little burnt, but whatever, we're not gonna notice. Brown food tastes good. So I'm just putting all these roasted vegetables into this little food processor. I wish I had a big KitchenAid food processor because I am a chef, so I don't understand why I don't have a huge one, but whatever. And then I put in these chipotle peppers. because I didn't have the dried chilies like I mentioned earlier, and I have never had these, so we'll see how they are. Put in some vegetable broth. Yeah, like I said, I don't measure anything, so whatever. And then a little bit of seasoning, some pepper, a few more seasonings. Sorry I didn't mention these or call these out, show what they are, but yeah, we're just gonna let that mix. And after my first mix, I realized that I got some of the food on my hand, so I decided to be smart, use my college education, and use a little paper towel to cover up the hole at the top of my food processor. But then that didn't work, and it just kept getting soggier and soggier. So then I got smart finally, and I used a big ramekin, so then all of the food could just go into that, and my hands would be clean. Okay, so my bad. I didn't even mention what I was making here. I'm making consomme. That's the red stuff that I have been making. So I put it into this pot so that it can thicken, and then I add in some more vegetable broth and some salt and then some bay leaves. And I know consomme is supposed to be a little bit thinner, but whatever. I just wanted it to be a little bit thicker for myself. And bring that to a boil, and once it's boiling, I brought it over to my simmer eye and let it simmer for about an hour. Now I'm going to be cooking my mushrooms. So I've got my pan, and on medium-high heat, I think, heavy-handed with the olive oil, and I'm just putting all my mushrooms in there. I'm trying to spread them out kind of evenly and have them be flat. I don't know why. I think just for the tacos, I want them to be flat. This is what they look like cooking, and this is what they look like pretty much done. Now I'm just adding in, I think, a cup and a half of the consomme to my mushrooms and just gonna stir that all together. And we're back with the olive oil. Now it's actually preparing my birria tacos. So I have my corn tortilla. I put it into the consomme and did both sides, shook off the excess, and tried to put them both into this pan. I got a little ambitious, obviously, so these two aren't the golden children. And here I'm just adding some mozzarella cheese, also heavy-handedly. And then adding my mushrooms, my mushroom mixture. I wish this could have been as authentic as possible. I don't know why my corn tortillas turned out soggy, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I folded them over and I'm just giving them little love pats. And then I'm gonna flip them over when they're done on cooking on one side. Here we go. Here is the star. I've got my corn tortilla dipped in the consomme again, added some mozzarella cheese, and then my mushrooms. And this one hopefully will be better so you guys can see actually what I'm doing. I don't know why I patted this taco so much, but I just really loved it. And here we have the final product. Vegetarian birria tacos using mushrooms as the meat. Honestly, this video is super short, but this took me like 3 hours to make. I don't know why, and you don't even see all of that work in this. But whatever, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, super happy with them. Now we're doing a taste test. After the first taste test, I decided adding some lime. I've been adding a lot of citrus to my meals, just in general. So that's what that heavy-handed lime was all about. Dipping that in. Delicious. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you later.